Hello guys, it's your boy Bardo Weeps, and yeah, today we're gonna talk about what we think is like the ancient kingdom, what it all includes, a few theories on a few characters, a few hints we got all over the story, and all of those other like characters that we saw all over this place that just were there and we didn't notice that for some reason. Let's start with Banjo's part.
What is up, Barto Weeps channel? It is Banjo coming through to y'all, and as I assume Barto has already pretty much explained this entire theory to y'all, and he's kind of giving y'all the basis. Pretty much me and Barto have constructed a mastermind theory, or what we think is a mastermind theory, and we just want to get it out to y'all. If I sound a little weird, I am very sorry. My apologies. I'm pretty stopped up right now. My sinuses are messed up, and I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but you know, the show must go on whether I am feeling good or whether I am feeling bad, because this is something that we want to talk about. So let's just get right into it. Two of the most mysterious characters in this entire series are, kind of being brought to light right about now. Oda, he's really saying this is the end game, and those two very, very, very important characters are, of course, one being Emu and one being Dr. Vegapunk. But before we can get into the technology side of this, we got to get to we got to discuss the topic of immortality. So Emu is seemingly immortal, being from the Void Century and possibly before that time period, maybe even Joy Boy, Nika being there and witnessing all of that. He's had to have something that is keeping him alive. Well, I believe what is keeping him alive is possibly Law's devil fruit. Now, I know you've probably heard this theory before, but it really just makes more sense than anything else. I used to say, oh, the celestial dragons have that air inside of their masks, or the air inside of Mary Joie that keeps them alive and allows them to age a whole lot slower than normal. But no, Law's devil fruit, Law's popping off right now, and Law's devil fruit is very, very, very expensive, and it is very important and of high maintenance to the world government. As we've already seen, his devil fruit is crazy, but it also allows him to give, a lifespan, a life to someone. So, it wouldn't be so far-fetched for Emu to obtain immortality from, finding this devil fruit and then giving it to somebody, forcing somebody to give him their lifespan. They die, he finds the devil fruit again, and then he reuses it, and it's just a never-ending cycle. But now, Corazon got his hands on it, and now Law has it, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. We have to get back on topic. So that is the immortality part on Emu's side. And then we have to move to Dr. Vegapunk. And his immortality seems as if it is coming from this insane technology that he is using from the past, which we presumably thought it was the future, but no, this is all ancient technology from the past. Well, you may be wondering, Banjo, are you implying that Dr. Vegapunk is from the Void Century as well? And yes, that is exactly what we are both implying, me and Barto as well. We both think this. And why do we think this? Well, allow me to give you a couple little, examples. So, we see that Dr. Vegapunk knows an absurd amount about the Void Century, considering he is literally recreating all of these sciences from, 900 years ago, where the Void Century is 800 years ago. Considering, he was just learning about all the technology and all the ancient weapons that were pretty much erased from humanity. But now that I brought up ancient weapons, this is very, 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 very important. Dr. Vegapunk and both Emu know exactly what the ancient weapons are, what they do, and exactly how powerful they are, because we just saw Emu use this ancient weapon to eviscerate the Lucia Kingdom. So with him completely destroying this island and Vegapunk, recreating all of this old technology, it's just brought to my attention that these two characters were brought up in the exact same time period. Yes, wild to think, but yes, these two characters, we believe they were brought up in the same time period. They're the same person, but two different people, if you know what I mean. They both are they both know exactly about the same thing. They might not be the strongest characters, but their knowledge is so much goes so much deeper than anybody else's knowledge in the series. And to bank off a little bit more about, ancient weapons and crazy technology, we had to run back to Skypiea, where we see, Enel up in the sky, and we see him build this ship, which I think could possibly be an ancient weapon. That's just my personal opinion. And then we see all these robots. You can't tell me that this isn't some type of ancient technology that is from the Void Century. We're seeing it there. Dr. Vegapunk knows about it. Emu knows about it. They're definitely from the same time period, and I believe that this is going to be brought to light very, very, very soon in this series, because as you know, we are in the end game. But speaking of end game and Joy Boy, I'm gonna let Barto take care of that.
Let's go, Bardo, back in the house, boys, and yeah, let's discuss this fucking impactful thing. And well, my theory on Joy Boy, the thing with Emu, and a little bit about ancient weapons that I wanted to present to you. I think one of the most impactful things in this video, in my opinion. And yeah, I think my man Banjo brought you a little bit into it sweetly and nicely, cut it you in. But now we're gonna get balls to the walls. And yeah, let's start with my Joy Boy ancient weapon thing and all of that. Well, first of all, we know that in the ancient times back then, 900 years ago, around that time period, they were advanced as fuck. They were super advanced, they had everything over there. And I wanted to mention that Vegapunk, he only had like the knowledge somewhat, or made sense of the past, and he found all that knowledge in Egghead Island. So there are two things that I wanted to say about Vegapunk. Either he is in some way a time traveler, maybe a time capsule or something like that, and he came out at that exact time where Joy Boy is like predicted to come back or something like that, like half spiritual, half like technological shit, I guess. And he like made sense of what his ancestors did, and he might have been just a genius kid back then, and maybe even possibly not that possibly, but maybe the kid of Joy Boy, who knows, that could be a theory for another vid. But yeah, the ancient weapons, let's start with that. Ancient weapons are of course from back then, and I think you should like put a pinch of salt on that, because we of course have the sea girl, I forgot her name, she was so irrelevant in the Fishman Island arc, and yeah, she could like command those fish monsters, the sea monsters. And what I find interesting about the sea monsters is that they are super bizarre creatures, and I don't think it's not like possible to not make them in a lab, because they were very advanced, probably way more advanced than Vegapunk, and probably even created them on the demand of Joy Boy or something like that, with like a command to like wait until a specific person comes, or a specific person tells them to do that and that. And I think it would practically make sense, because they could have also like manipulated a few cells of mermaids and wait until it passes down to a specific one. I think it would make sense, and then it would like activate a like on this time, you know what I mean? And I just think it sounds pretty cool, like a pretty cool idea. And like how the sea monsters created by Joy Boy to maybe even protect the Fishman Island, that might be super important, and maybe it might even get destroyed because of that reason, or hasn't been destroyed because of the sea monsters. And the One Piece also might be underwater, and maybe because of that, there are so many bizarre creatures underwater. And they might be a part of Joy Boy's warrior army, including Zunisha, that is also a super bizarre occurrence. Either there are two things: either he had the Nika Nika fruit and stretched his legs, and that's what we call the curse, or second thing, he could also been manipulated with technological advancements. For example, Chopper sort of manipulated Fruit into different forms, and it's not far from reality to just manipulate an awakened zone user with the elephant fruit. You know what I mean? Or he was from the start an elephant, which would be weird as hell, like a fucking talking elephant. But Oda's wildin' and he smoked some weird crack. So yeah. Now I want to go to the part why Emu is Emu and why he also could have like lived until this point and why he might not have had the immortality shit from from Lost Fruit, from the Heart Fruit, and he might have just gotten a like we got clone technologic shit already from the Germa, and why not just clone not Vegapunk, but like Vegapunk also might have done something very similar, but I mean Emu he could have just like put his consciousness into the next body, so on and so on and so on. And maybe because Vegapunk got to that and to that conclusion, hey yo, that man's got all of that shit. That's how he did it. That's how he got those ancient weapons. That's how he created such weapons. That's why Emu's new target is Vegapunk, because maybe he just had a click and found out, oh shit, wait a minute, he's not just some fucking genius. He's making sense of what I had back then and I wanted to destroy back then. Because let's be honest, what's easier to rule? A big ass country full of hobos? Or a country full of advanced motherfuckers that have an unlimited amount of cool weapons and so much more? You know what I mean? Like, what would you deal more? Like Roger or some guy with 10,000 mechs? You know what I mean? And now the poneglyphs, like it could be just future, like not futuristic, post pre apocalyptic, like signs, like a secret like language from back then that only a few people spoke, like a dialect or something like that, and then they put it in the land of Wano where Pluton is, which is an ancient weapon. Like it's so crazy to think about, and I just wanted to share y'all this opinion because this is just crazy to just know all this, because Jesus Christ, the One Piece is the One Piece, you know what I mean? And yeah guys, love y'all, subscribe, like, goodbye.